How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller and full-time student, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to use Keepa charts properly. It's a skill that's definitely difficult to learn at first, but once you really get it down, it's going to be able to make you quite a bit of money. So before we jump into it, if you want to check out my completely free Discord, there's going to be a link for that down below. We talk about ungating, we talk sourcing questions, pretty much anything you want to know you can ask in there. But let's go ahead and jump into the video, see if we can teach you something about Keepa today. So I picked out a couple products to show you guys for some different things I can teach you about Keepa. This is the first product I picked out. I picked this one out because it has a very flat line like this, very consistent sales. This to me screams that it's a wholesale product, and I know for a fact this is a wholesale product because I've been in contact with this brand. It's not very profitable. You'll make like 10% margin if you want to go open a wholesale account with them, be my guest. But I wanted to show you this Keepa chart because if it's got a straight line like this, you're almost guaranteed that it's a wholesale product with a MAP pricing policy, a minimum advertised pricing policy, to where anyone who's on the listing is not allowed to sell it below a certain price. In this case, it's probably $129.95. Or if this is a straight line like this and there's only one seller on the listing, or maybe two sellers on the listing, you should definitely stay away from that product because it's almost certainly a private label brand that they're holding their price steady. They're the only people who are allowed to sell on that listing, so they have no reason to be price competitive with people. But with products like this, it can be difficult to tell how many you're actually going to sell, right? Because there's 40 or so people on this listing right now, so there's quite a few sellers. But one way you can actually see with Keepa to see how fast the buy box is rotating, you can go to this data page right here. You can go to buy box statistics if it'll load on me, and then you can actually see a whole bunch of information about the buy box on this listing. I like to filter by this last one just to see how fast the buy box is rotating. So it looks like we've got 1 day ago, a whole bunch of 1 day agos, and then 3 that were in the buy box today. So it looks like there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or so sellers that are very competitively rotating in the buy box. So you'd probably be able to realistically sell probably 1/11th or 1/12th of the sales on this listing. You can actually also check the percentage of time that they've won the buy box on this listing. You can see maybe they've been in stock for a really long time or something like that. Looks like they've got 67 in stock right now, I believe. Yeah, so if we go over here, we can actually see how many they've had in stock over time. So this one right here looks like you can track the individual storefront stock count, which is something I didn't know about until recently, so I wanted to show you guys this for sure. Let me zoom in a little bit here. But you can see that the seller who had 67 in stock, you can see exactly how many they had in stock. Looks like they've been in stock for quite a while. They did go almost out of stock in June, so you can see that they've been at it for a while. So Amazon's kind of rewarding them for being in stock and being on this listing for quite a while. So you can see it literally in action right there, that Amazon likes you to be on the listing for quite a while, whereas this seller has been on the listing since late July or beginning of July, and it looks like they haven't really sold any since the beginning of July. So that's one thing you'd want to look out for, just to see if maybe the buy box isn't rotating evenly. So in this case, it looks like some of these people are actually priced competitively but aren't seeing buy box rotation. Looks like some of these are breaking MAP policy. So this listing might be a little bit dangerous if you were going to go in and actually follow MAP policy. But there's just a couple things to look out for when you're looking for wholesale products. You can kind of monitor the buy box rotation actually within Keepa here. The next product I wanted to show you guys is this one right here. It is just an example of what a replenishable product might look like. So this is just a regular everyday product. It's a little overpriced, $13. You could think, if you think about it, you could probably go to Walmart and pick this up for $5 or $6. And then down here, you're going to want to, for a replenishable, you're going to want to make sure that the sales rank is relatively consistent. Make sure it's been selling for a decent amount of time, and also the price is very consistent. In this case, you can see the price almost looks like a wholesale product on this one. But we can reasonably infer that Nivea, a pretty big brand, is probably not exclusively selling to wholesalers. This is almost guaranteed a retail arbitrage product or an online arbitrage product. But this is what you want to be looking for when you're trying to find replenishables. Just because you're almost guaranteed that you're going to be able to sell it for this $13.50 price. Looks like it's very recently gone down in price a little bit, but I'd expect that to probably recover. So then you'd go up to your calculator here. This is FBA calculator. It's a completely free Chrome extension. You can go check it out. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. So you're going to be netting 7 here. So realistically, you'd probably want to try to find this for probably $4.50 to make it worth it at all. So probably if you could find this for $4, that might be something worth looking out for here. But this is basically what a Keepa chart for a replenishable is going to look like for when you're looking out for those. I know quite a bit of you that are trying to get into the replenishables game. And real quick, we could also check the buy box statistics here. It looks like this person and this person are kind of sharing the buy box right now. They're both priced at this 13. He's priced at 13.51. He's priced at 13.38. So it looks like these guys are winning the buy box, even though their price is higher than currently. I guess that's their average price. So for now, he's gone down in price, but he was winning the buy box for that 13.51 price for quite a while. One other thing you can look out for on this graph is for this recent increase in new sellers. Definitely triggered this price drop. So last time there was an increase in new sellers, it looks like eventually the price actually fell. So that may be something to look out for here. So last time the sellers count kind of did this. The price went as low as $8. So you could kind of add that into your risk calculations for whether or not you'd want to actually get into this product. So this next example here is a textbook, just to show you generally what you're going to be able to looking out for on a listing, where you can kind of figure out maybe you can sell the textbook for more during textbook season, or whether or not you should just kind of liquidate it. So here you can see this is a very popular biology book, so you can see how really fast it sells during textbook season here, and you can literally watch the black line increase here. So you can literally see on all these black lines here every time that the semester starts again. So if you're able to buy this book in the off season, I mean, there's even some arbitrage opportunity if you bought it here and sold it here, just within Amazon. But if you went out to the thrift store and you found this book, and you are listing this book on Amazon, you'd want to look at this Keepa chart here, because if, let's say you listed on Amazon here, the prime price might have been $70 because it wasn't in insane demand and the price was at $55. But during textbook season recently, the price went as high as like $115, $110 here. And the prime bump on this was probably at least $40 or $50. So instead of selling it for $75, you could have sold it for $150 during textbook season, just for knowing what to look out for here. And one other thing you're going to want to look out for is to see this used offer count. In this case, you can see the used offer count wasn't really affected last textbook season, and because of that, the price kind of stayed where it was, rose a little bit, and then kept dropping as people wanted to sell out of this book before the textbook season ended. But this time, it looks like the demand for this book was higher than the supply. So as these used offers went down, the used price kept going up, and now it's kind of stabilizing a little bit because we're reaching the end of it. We're kind of coming out of textbook season a little bit. But that's one other thing you're going to want to look out for during textbook season. If you're repricing your textbooks, you should probably reprice your textbooks one or probably twice during textbook season. Once to make sure that you're maximizing your profit, and then another time halfway through to try to actually sell it and still make that good return and not have to wait until next semester. So if you looked at it at this point here and saw the used offers decreasing and stuff, you should definitely hold strong here, and you'd probably sell on this bump here. But there's just several uses for how to use Keepa for used books. This is also going to tell you the ceiling price. So in this case, obviously you're never going to be able to sell more than Amazon is selling it for. So the max you would ever be able to sell this for here is 220, and then you'd be able to bump up a little bit from this black line, and that's known as the prime bump. So this last example here is for potentially an online arbitrage product you find, but the current price is pretty high, and on the Keepa graph you can tell that very recently it was selling for $20 less. Even as little as it looks like about a month ago, it was selling for $5 less. So this is an example of when you'd want to be able to consider your floor price. This is something I talk about a lot. So in this case, you want to make sure that you're okay with the price returning back to this $46 price point, because the new sellers is pretty much even with where it was back when it was selling for $46. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense that the price wouldn't return to this point. So you'd want to make sure that you're totally okay with this price returning here. Not that you're okay with the returns there, but let's say, so let's run a profit calculator here just real quick. So looks like the floor price was this $46 price point. So you'd want to be buying this for probably no more than $32, because worst case, you want to be able to at least get your money back on an online arbitrage or retail to arbitrage purchase. So in this case, you'd look at this graph, say, okay, if it goes back to my floor price, I still want to be able to get my money back at least. And then in this case, it's $32. So you'd want to make sure that you're spending no more than $32 on this. But let's say the price holds and you're able to sell it for $65, like it currently is selling for. Then you'd be making a pretty nice return. That's going to be a $17 profit, 26% margin. That looks great. So this is all part of your risk management decisions as far as when you purchase something, when you don't purchase something. So let's say let's say you're finding this product for 38, because then it would probably still be so that's probably not enough profit. So let's say 35 or so. That's pushing it on not enough profit, but that's right in that sweet spot. But let's say it returns down to that $46 price point. You're probably going to be losing some money now. So not that bad. So in this case, if you were able to get it for 35, I personally would still buy this because it's like stock trading. If you're familiar with kind of risk mitigation, like worst case I lose, in this case $2. Best case I make that $17. To me, that's a good risk reward. But let's say that floor price was $20 and you have to spend $35 on it. Like back here, Amazon was selling this for $20. Let's say Amazon comes back on the listing for $20. I don't expect them to do that on this. But if that were to happen, you'd lose more than you had to gain. So that's how you should think about your risk management as far as looking at floor prices and ceiling prices on Keepa. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on Keepa. I hope you learned something. I myself didn't know about that buy box rotation thing until somebody showed me earlier this month, or about a month ago or so. If you guys want to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. That would help my business out. Hopefully I helped your business out in this video. So let's make it a fair trade. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those down below and I'll answer those as soon as possible. And again, we have a completely free Discord for you guys. It's going to be linked down below. Lots of awesome resources in there for you guys to take advantage of. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll see you next time.